You ready, Guy?
I'm so ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, we are here, and today's episode of the Jeskidding podcast is, do we really care? Really? Do we? It's the Jeskidding podcast where sometimes I say things and it's kind of inappropriate, and I'm like, I was just kidding. And then other times I say things that are sort of thoughtful, and you go, just kidding, and a light goes off and some shit. I don't know. Do you care? I don't know if you really care. Guy, do you care?
Nah, not really.
Guy doesn't care. Guy Raiders were here with us to not care and explain what it is to care or not care about things. So this is the topic today. You're going to be like, this is kind of broad, Jess Kid, or boring, but maybe not boring. Maybe actually fascinating. I don't. That doesn't sound like you care about what I was saying. Oh,
we're gonna aim for fascinating. We're gonna aim for some depth on this issue.
There's gonna be depth. There's gonna be.
You came up with it, so if it fails, well, it's on you.
It's really my responsibility. So I did say that it would be a fun mix of positivity and cynicism, and I think we're gonna bounce back and forth. Okay, so we're gonna start off really fast paced today, and I'm gonna ask you, Guy, do you really care?
I like to say that I do, but I don't know if I do.
Okay,
and that's just the honest truth, right?
Yeah, and you feel that way, right? You feel that sometimes you care about things and sometimes you don't, or you really just don't care in general?
It is it's transactional, it's transitional, it is
you care only transactionally.
Right. Yeah, look,
they're like, here's your sandwich. You're like, I care.
you have like a health meter when it comes to caring. And you have to be really careful as you navigate through the RPG of your own life.
That's fair. The facts. I've never heard a more factual statement. You have to be very careful as you navigate through the RPG of your life. That should be on your fucking gravestone.
All of a sudden you find yourself in a forest and all the trees are sprites, and you're like, oh, this is shitty. But then, like, it's easy to spot the box that you can break and pick up an apple, and it takes, brings up your care meter, and then you can care a lot more.
So you have a care meter.
Explore. Yeah.
In this forest, you have a care bear.
No.
I have a don't care bear. It's a very different breed.
The care bear is like the boss at the end, right? You have to battle the care bear, and it's like, but you have a choice. You can either slay the care bear, or you can go up and hug it. It's just so cute.
Or you can just look at it and be like, I don't really care. So I don't really care. So okay. So we have a lot of topics to cover on this thing, and anybody from the chat room. We also broadcast this live on Twitch. We put it on YouTube later, so you'll hear me refer to people on Twitch from time to time as they say things like, I don't care. I've seen multiple I don't cares since we started this stream, which is really kind of disheartening, to be honest.
We've polled the room, and
they don't care. There's a lot of don't cares, which is it's a general sense of apathy in the world, and that's totally fine. Okay,
sure.
So what do you? If I had to list something from you, right? What do you really care about? Like, what's something you really care about?
Well, I think most people would say I care about myself. But I don't.
That was the first thing you care about? What a fucking horrible human being you are.
I was going to say
most people. Most people. Oh yeah, that's like I have a friend who has genital herpes. And most people. That's like Donald Trump. He's like, most people are saying. Literally, it's like 2 people said that. And they say
people are noticing more and more that Frederick Douglass.
People are noticing.
Was a great shortstop.
So people don't usually care. So what about you, Guy? What do you care about?
I care. I care about my friends and family. I like to think.
Facts.
But there's a lot of factors that can make you not care about those things. I care. You know what I care about? I care about my own stability and via that being able to actually care. That's what I'm talking about. The care meter, right? Is that you kind of, the old aphorism, like, you can't love other people if you don't love yourself. You can't take care of people if you don't care about yourself. So I think that's, primarily, I think we have to be concerned with our own vessel first, or at least maybe we should be. Not in a selfish way, but just to make sure that.
So you went to like, if you care for yourself first, then you can care for others. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's generally
there
true.
Was some logic in there. Where that started to me was like, if I don't really care about myself, then I don't really give 2 shits about anybody else. That's kind of where it was coming across as. I'm just being honest. It sounded a little selfish. I'm not accusing you. I'm not accusing you. This is not.
Oh no, I'm very selfish. Absolutely. No, I'm not gonna.
My
Look,
my
you
friend
have to
Guy
be
Rader
honest.
is selfish. So I like your honesty. Please continue telling us about your selfishness and your lack of caring. Look at the sound of my voice, dude. That's very judgmental. How I'm talking to you right now. I just want to be clear about that.
Yeah, you're kind of talking down to me.
Nah, I'm more punching.
Which is fine. I see. Oh, you're punching. Okay. Well,
That's a
then
popular social media term, so I figured we'd use that one today. You're punching down. Stop punching down. You should be punching up. You shouldn't be punching at all, maybe. Or you should be universally punching or kicking. I'll tell people I took karate. I don't punch down. I kick down because I don't care.
Well, you kick up.
I do kick up.
There's a very famous article in our college newspaper where you're interviewed about your karate, and you said, "I don't know. I just like kicking people in the head."
I kind of did. This angle's a little out of focus. I've just cut to an angle. Those that are listening to it in my 3-camera podcast, because I have to tell you, I've spent a lot of money on this thing that nobody listens to, and I only said that because I feel like people don't care. So, but this angle feels a little out of focus, and I don't care. So I'm gonna go to the other angle, and I'm clicking the button. Okay. So yes, I was quoted as I like to kick people in the head. So that's a form of caring. I cared about my ability to kick them in the head. Okay.
You care about the state of their consciousness.
I did, actually, very much. So Fox in the chat room says, nah, I don't really care about myself, but I do for the people around me. So we have a selfless person in the chat room, Guy, to offset your selfishness.
I understand the sentiment. I think, that's the way we should all aspire to. But I do find myself becoming more and more selfish as I get older.
Why is that? And I'd like to comment on that as well. Why is that? And we'll talk about it. How do you take? Because when you were younger, I've known Guy for a long time, 25 years or something crazy like that. When you were younger, you were like always trying to help everybody else. So do you feel like all of your caring for other people, kind of like, and not getting the reach around of care, has made you less willing to put them first, or something along those psychological lines?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's made me more reticent or cautious about putting other people in front of me. When I was younger, I definitely had a larger. Well, first of all, I knew or interacted with a lot more people on a much more regular basis, right? So that just gives you a lot more opportunities to care or not care. And I did care. And I found myself being like the emotional sponge a lot of times.
Yeah, you felt like you were like being used as.
I mean, not used as that's like a really petty word or whatever.
What's what's a more sophisticated version of used?
Well, look, you just have to say, like, people have needs, and what it came down to is I had to realize that a lot of it came off was because of how I would try and interact with people. And I would always put forth like a very sincere, caring front, and then, like, oh, surprise! If you're going to act that way, people are going to expect you to be there to listen to them, help them out, move on a Sunday night, whatever it is.
I would help you move on a Sunday night.
Right, of course. I mean,
I'm one of those universally caring people.
You are, honestly, and
God bless me.
I'm not here just to talk about how great Jeskidding is.
No,
I'm
please
here
do.
to talk about how awful I am.
Oh. Well, I care. Wait, I don't care. I care about that. I do. I don't know. So Yukio in the chat room said, I used to care about friends, but now I made that second priority, and my family is first. What if your family is not as good as your friends? Do you have like less care for your family? If they're not as good, your family's better, obviously, than your friends. Or is it like a loyalty thing that you care for them more? I just want to understand this world. This world, too, to be honest with you. So I'd like to know that, Yukio. Will get back to me. So, what's the inverse of caring? What word would you use?
Oh, man, and now my vocabulary fails me. The opposite of caring is... I don't know. It's not disgust. It's
apathy.
Apathy. There you go. Thank you.
We did it. I prepare for these podcasts, so I know exactly what it is. It's unfair.
Dude, you did so much research.
I did a lot of homework / 20 minutes.
Like literally like 4 hours ago. Listen, like, maybe we'll do this.
Well, because I care about this podcast, and I care about my audience. These are things that I care about. So I'm going to back it up and just go like, what do I care about? So okay. So I care about how I fit into the world. But that is lessening over the years. I care about people, but sometimes they force me not to, and sometimes I have to put an off switch on some of them because some of them, like you said, can be very usury and non-reciprocal, right? So those people, I find it harder to care for, especially as the unfortunate lessons of life tell you not to care for those that will never give it back to you. So when you hit too much of a selfish person, sometimes you gotta recede back, and then unfortunately you can get to a default state where you recede first in caring about things or people, right? And then there's causes, right? So we're gonna have like a lightning round of this thing, but I care about people. I care about projects that I'm passionate about. I care about expressing myself. I care about trying to stay positive, but I do hit moments every day even where I have like the I don't care switch. Like, and it's like, I think it's like I don't care is a really a defense mechanism. And I think that, like, even look at the internet, right? It's like IDC is like a thing you see all the time. Like, we've got an acronym for it now. There's no IC, there's no I care. There's IDC. I don't care. And that's kind of like a little disturbing to me, that like a lot of like a default stance now is to not give a shit. But at the same time, things that I find overwhelming, things that I find too much, you really can't care about everything. You know, Jerry in the chat room said, actually, I see, like I see the thing. Jerry, I don't care. Don't correct me. I'm just kidding. Right. So, yeah, I had to have that moment where I didn't care. I did care, though. I thought it was actually funny. I appreciate you, Jerry. Okay, so I care about people. I care about self-expression. I care about, hopefully, the world moving in a better place. I care about my family. I care about my friends. You know, with limits on what I'll put up with, but I care about them. I don't know if I care about things I used to care about when I was younger, which have shifted from now. And Guy, I'd love to hear your perspective on this. I used to care more about fame and attention. I care less now. I care more about reaching people and being able to sustain that. Like, I'd rather be able to reach millions and millions of people with a positive message and sort of have like an influence. Maybe it's a narcissistic desire, I don't know, but have like a real, just something positive into the stream of life, or something interesting or thought-provoking, and know that I did it and be able to feel proud of myself and know that I affected people with it. But at the same time, I don't need to walk down the street and have people go, oh, look, there's that guy. And I don't know if there's a way to separate those two things.
Like, what about a thought experiment? Like, say you could have, I don't know, just making up a number, 5 million followers, but you're known for being kind of like a snarky guy who makes fun of everything.
Well, I've thought about that, and there's
versus you know, I don't know, 10,000, 25,000 who, you know, who know you and really care and like love the show or whatever, with the same level as if you were an uncaring prick, but you were known for being like nice and reaching out.
Well, it's a great conundrum, right? It's if you have access to
all the, like, you know, monetary
from both,
you know,
same money from both.
No, not the same money.
Oh, really?
Like, you know, less
money for
followers, less fame, whatever. You make less, but you know.
I mean, my instinct would be to go for the 5 million. Unfortunately, that I could then shift into the other thing. But in a world where you're creating the circumstance where I can't shift it, then I'd rather have the 10,000. Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Not without a heart, you know, in a heartbeat. But if it's not enough money to sustain, then you have to go to the other because you just can't keep doing it.
I can follow you, but this makes no sense.
I thought I turned those off, but thank you for that. So that's my follow alert that just went off.
You have
I appreciate that, dude. Thank you for that, my brother. No, we got it. So that voice is not mine. That's from.
Do you have a soundboard?
Yeah, I do have a soundboard. I'm Jeskidding, and I don't give a shit. See, I don't give a shit is like it's a higher level. I don't care. Right? That's the best, right? It's like I'm God and I can do I have all kinds of sound effects built into it and blah, 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 blah. So would I rather have a smaller fan base? The answer is yes. But it's for me, that's a hard question because, and without going into something totally off topic, but I care enough about what I want to do to have a lot of integrity with it. And that sort of costs me my ability sometimes to reach a larger audience because I don't make things that are as easy to digest is what you're suggesting. So I have trouble because my caring about the product itself causes the product to not move as quickly as something that's much easier. If I cared less, I would be a lot more successful. I don't know how else to put it. You know what I mean? Like because I've always understood the tricks of moving forward in a really
right. You could be making stupid clickbait videos.
Oh, 100%. They're easy. Yeah. They're easy, especially if you have skill. I'm not saying it's easy to get attention, but I'm saying it's easy to get people to pay attention to shit. I watched a video today that I didn't care about at all. But neither did anybody else. It was like watch guy get out of car and watch what he does, and he's angry, road rage, and he got up and he hit the other car. Then the other guy followed him, and they put a title saying yes, and we called the police. And then it drove for like 2 minutes, and nothing happened. And people in the chat, in the fucking comments, were like, "I can't believe I just wasted 3 minutes of my life," but they did. And then that guy through the algorithm will get that video seen more. Because he just put a really clickbaity title and had like a beginning image but I don't want to do that. I've never wanted to do that. So for me, back to caring, it's like caring is like the same thing as passion. Like I very much care about what I want to do with my life and my ability to do it. But unfortunately, when things don't go my way or I make a mistake or whatever happens, it doesn't even matter what happens, that can start to eat away at caring. And then I have to sort of regrow the caring. You could call it passion, you could call it caring, but it's an investment in something. And it's like the idea of, do we really care? Really do we? Or really do I? And then sometimes I'm like, I don't care because it's not going to care about me. And that's kind of like the default reaction, right? Like about anything. How can I care about something that's not going to care about me? And sort of when you put that in a less personal way, in a personal way that makes sense. Like, you don't care about me? Well, I don't care about you either. How's that? I'm gonna go home. But when you take that and you make it like a bigger scale and you take it like about your life, and then it's much more interesting, guy, because it gets to like politics, right? We'll get to that in a second. But when you talk about like caring, like in your life, I can't do it. My default is to give a shit about things, and it kills me, dude. It kills me because I wish every day that I cared less about things, but I care about too many things. In fact, it can be very negative, right? Like somebody does something to me, and I care about it too much. Where I think about it like 5 years later.
Well, what do you think about clarity of action? Like in terms of, I think it's a valuable life skill to determine like what you do care about and what you don't care about. Not that you will be mean or completely apathetic about those things that don't concern you, but you kind of create your own list or bucket of.
I think it's very smart.
These are the things that we care about. These are the things that are going to.
But I think as you age,
translates to attention, right?
Yeah, you age, you have to do that, right? I mean, it's kind of the natural default. Yuki in the chat room, by the way, said, "My grandma cares about the world. She would watch the news and then start crying at the war news." Yeah, some people it's too much. Some people they can't turn off that switch of like giving a shit or caring about things. It's in their brain, it's in their personality. They're very empathetic, they're very sympathetic. I am, and they just can't turn it off. But I think that there are parts you have to learn to compartmentalize that care. If you don't, you go crazy. Because if you're that kind of person and you sort of put that everywhere, it'll burn you out. Now, you take, for example, I made a video called something like about causes. Like, if I don't fight for your cause, am I a bad person? I had like a good bad person meter. Which, I'm like, I'm not fighting for cancer this week because I can't. Because I can't fight for every fucking cause. I can't care about everything always because there's always going to be something. Yeah. There's always going to be somebody in need or somebody who's suffering or somebody who's hurting or somebody's kid who's sick. Which all that stuff is important and valid. And at the proper moment, I will definitely put my heart into it. But I've definitely learned to be like, at this moment, I don't care in the negative sense. I'm not in this situation. I'm not going to even joke about this, but I don't care I can't at that moment. I just can't. And that's kind of like a part of like, I don't care is like, I can't care about that. I just can't. I can't. And I think that's a nice line to draw, when you're just like, you're out of that resource and you just can't do it. Yeah. You have to put limits on yourself. You have to. So, I mean, you look at like caregivers, right? People who are like, they're literally in their title is caregiver. They take care of somebody who's sick. We've all done it at one point or another. For somebody in some ways, and some people more for people who are sick and some people more emotionally, right? But why are caregivers so fucking unhappy after a while? What do you think, Guy?
Well, I mean, I think because the caregiver industry as a whole is shit upon, just in terms of the well, look at the enormity of the task that they're given, right?
But I'm not even talking about the professionals. I'm talking about the person who's like caring for the loved one that's sick or emotionally hurt. Like they call it the caregiver. Like, you know, you're the caregiver for your sick uncle, whatever.
Right.
But also
right.
but you're as an industry too. So please continue.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, you just made a general statement about like, why do caregivers like, turn off or why is it so easy to get burned out on that? It's because, well, if that is your job to like, provide unilaterally for an individual, it leaves very little for you. And oftentimes that position, whether it's paid, unpaid, or a combination of the both, doesn't come with enough remuneration, whether that's emotional
or financial,
or financial, to make it worth your while.
I don't disagree with that, but I think that those people, and I don't know people who are nurses in here, but people who are like actual caregivers, I don't find them to be exceptionally unhappy. I'm not saying they're happier than everybody else, but I don't find them more unhappy, and I think that they have that ability to hit that threshold and then just not give beyond it, and they also have the ability to leave their job, leave their work at their job. Like my friend who I just talked to recently got a job as a police dispatcher, and I think it's tough. I mean, the shit you got to hear, but he sounds happy. So I think when a professional handles it better than like a regular person. When a regular person becomes a caregiver, they don't have that limit. Like they'll burn themselves to pieces.
Well, if it's tied to employment, right? And that's we talked about perhaps talking about like workplace caring today.
Right?
Right.
Do you care at work? I want to know. Do you care? We don't know where you work.
At work?
They don't you care? Okay, good. People from your job are listening.
Oddly enough, I do. I probably care, consistently the most about that because it's what provides for me and makes sure that I can continue to care about the things I would rather spend my time and attention caring for.
And you actually care about you take pride in your work, dude. I know you. And you're a make people happy guy. You are, even in a superficial way. Like you want people to be like pleased, don't you?
Sure, and again, like what I initially described, my caring as transactional. Like that's the most transactional you can get in a way, is doing it at work. But I also have the benefit of being fairly well compensated, and having a job that falls within my skill sets and working with a great group of people. So that goes a long way. Like, so when, this is why, like, when people are mean to like service workers.
Oh, I hate that.
The person who rang me up at the grocery store, they frowned at me when they put my milk in the bag.
This lady was at this Chinese dumpling place the other day, and she came in. She's like, "Are you gonna open the door? It's fucking humid in here." I'm like, "Lady, this is not this lady who works this place is not a humidity meter, nor a humidity slave. She makes dumplings." So if you want to ask somebody kindly, like, "Hey, would you mind opening the door?" Yeah, maybe I will do that for you, ma'am. Because I care about people who have manners and are polite. But at that moment, I hope you fucking choke on the fucking moisture. I don't care. So that's where the I don't care meter goes way up.
Oh, absolutely.
But before that, I'm good. Go ahead.
And and it also comes down to your care meter goes down when you encounter people who could do for themselves but just choose not to.
Yeah, that's fair. That there's a fair care meter. That's fair.
Yeah, a fair care.
That's fair care. That's fair care.
Yeah.
I agree. Listen, because you realize they're not being fair to you, because you're working hard for what you get, hopefully, right? And they're not, and they're taking advantage of you. So when you feel like somebody's threatening you in that way, you're going to respond with a defensive measure. And the best defensive measure at this point is not to attack them, but just to shut them off.
Right.
And to be like, because we live in New York City. And people constantly handing you shit, and they're trying to activate your care meter. I fucking hate that guy. I hate it. I don't mind you asking me for something. And I hate the questions. You're going to love this guy. When I'm walking through the mall and the lady's like, "Do you care about children having cancer?" That's a fucking loaded question. Of course I care about it. But you're trying to get me to have a 14-minute conversation and then give money I just don't have at the moment. And so I do. The answer is yes, but fuck you. For try to manipulate me into that moment.
Absolutely.
And
You just described like pretty much every day on my commute is that there are 7 or 8 panhandlers, and then there's also the, save the whales, save the scales,
save the scales.
Save the trees.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's such Daenerys' foundation. Save the scales. Save the scales.
No, literally, I'm walking to the subway after work, and there's a bunch of people who just want to talk to you and solicit your money and such. And it's like, okay, your Planned Parenthood, your, Nature Conservancy, whatever. I do donate privately, but I can't stand this on the street. Like, I don't want to be mean to these people or pretend that I don't care, because I do. But it's I gave at the office kind of thing.
Dude,
like,
I literally walk down the streets in New York City with headphones, a hood, and sunglasses on. And I don't.
And you just said charity mugger. I like that.
Somebody in the chat room said charity mugger. Yes. And some Fox before in the chat room said that she donates to St. Jude's, and that's great. Because it's an organization that's great for kids. It's well known. It's got a reputation. It's what I mean. Like, where your money's going. I don't have time in the street to be a fucking filter for whatever's approaching me at the moment. Especially when it's like 6 different things. So I just walk around, not listening to music, just pretending I'm not there. So I don't have to pretend not to care. The worst is in New York City. When you're on the train and the guy comes in the car and you feel terrible. Because the guy's, and sometimes it's like you don't know if it's an act. And then sometimes it's like really like the person looks like fucked up. Like
you were talking about the difference between when I was young and now. Certainly when I first moved here for maybe 5 to 15 years, I would regularly give cash to whoever came along or whatever. Like, here's $1, here's 50 cents, here's whatever I got, And I would just try to do that because I'm like, well, I can afford to give away a little bit of money here or there. I don't give away shit on the street anymore. A guy could come on like on fire with a spear through his head, and I would just ignore him because I've got my headphones on.
That was my cousin, bro.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry about that.
He's a fucking idiot, though. He lights himself on fire once a week. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, you dummy? He's like, I'm on fire. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. He's like, dude, I got a spear through my head.
IDC. IDC.
Buy that spear.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you could afford a spear, right? Yeah. Fuck you. So, what makes you show it sewed up? Okay, so how about, we've talked about this a little bit, overcaring. Is it, it can be harmful, right? When you care too much about anything. Like, if you care too much about somebody, well, then you're a fucking stalker. Right? If you care too much about your career and you put it before everybody else, then you're narcissistic. I think that when you put that caring thing too much in one bucket, right, then it becomes like a care overload. What do you think?
No, obsession. Right?
Nah.
We've gone past like the what we were talking about, like the definition of caring before, and on to like
I'm not going to be ignored. Fatal attraction,
If you care about your career or things, or like, again, that comes to like to the level of obsession.
Do you think that being
for example, let me put it this way.
Please, go ahead.
And this is where it becomes obsession or maybe slightly pathological. There's a dude in the neighborhood is a huge cat rescuer, and I love cats. Like, I literally look at the ACC Animal Control website like 2 or 3 times a week.
Do you really?
And cry. Yeah, because I'm like, I want to give that cat a home.
And were you a big cat person before you got married, or you became a cat person?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I became a cat person.
Interesting.
But it definitely accelerated with.
So you caught the cat care disease.
I love cats. Yeah, but whatever. It could be anything. It could be gerbils or goldfish, right? But I find myself caring way too much about these cats. But there's a character in our neighborhood.
Yes.
Who is known? He's called Paul the Cat Guy, and you should give money to him.
Paul the Cat Guy?
Paul the Cat Guy in Astoria, New York.
He's got a bad name. You need to help him. Call him
Catman. I'll try to help him rebrand.
What do you think, Catman Dude?
Literally, no? But here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Okay. Let me talk for a moment.
Please, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I don't care. I don't care what you have to say. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you. I'm interrupting you. I'm total dick.
But he has this his whole own homegrown rescue network, and he goes out to like the train yards and stuff and like traps feral cats, and he gets them spayed or neutered, releases them, or if they're like docile enough, he tries to adopt them out. but he will bring in like these horribly hurt cats, like horrid injuries, and like rack up like thousands of dollars in vet bills, and he's constantly soliciting for donations. And as much as I love cats, I hate when we decide that they need to live, and put them through all this kind of, to a cat, they don't know what's going on. They just think they're getting tortured. Like, put the cat out of its misery. Like, put the cat down. And I know I might offend some sensibilities.
You're like the Jack Kevorkian of assisted cat suicide.
Well, in terms of being compassionate, like, if I was Paul the cat guy, I would say, hey, like, I found this cat, and unfortunately his injuries were really severe, and so we put them down or whatever. And the thing is, he solicits all this money and he gets it, and that's great. But literally tens of thousands of dollars every couple months in veterinary bills to like
so
save
crazy.
Cats. And while I appreciate it and I think it's great, it really, I'm like, you're caring too much. Like,
right.
You're not devoting the resources in the right way. That's easy for me to say. I'm not Paul the cat guy, right?
Is that is it? You don't really know his name, do you? He's just Paul the cat guy.
His name's Paul.
That's it. Paul the cat guy. Paul the cat guy who gets over like tens of thousands of dollars a year to give animals operations to save them from the destruction.
Feed them, yeah.
But like, I'm not saying this to be insensitive to anybody out there who loves cats. I love cats too. So forgive me what I'm about to say. But do you feel
all fucking cats must fucking die?
All cats must die. No, do you feel that cats deserve less caring because they're on the earth for less time? Okay, is there like an age thing? Is it an intelligence thing? Because maybe that operation might be better off on something that lives twice as long.
Yeah, I think it's about quality of life, quite honestly.
Is it? So, and how do we know that he's providing good quality of life?
Well, look,
and not just like a cat internment camp.
$15,000 to like, bring a cat back from the dead, and that cat invents the better light bulb or cures cancer. Who knows? It could happen.
Listen, how do we know that the little Meowie, or whatever the fucking cat is called, doesn't hate his life after now he has to limp around with like a fucking like a robot leg or whatever that $10,000 paid for that cat? We don't know. So those are one of the situations that I don't know how much I should care. I mean, I care about the cats. I want the cats to be okay, but I mean, some people die in wars, and some cats, they don't make it. I don't know where we're going with any of this. So I don't know how much I should actually care or not. You know what I mean? I feel like.
So you're saying we should care for the wounded cat veterans who come back from?
By the way, my friend Andy in the chat room just sent me the link to meet Instagram's Paul the cat guy. Now I can see Paul the cat guy in person. Yeah. That's amazing. Hi, Paul. I'm sorry. I don't mean to say anything about it. I love cats too, and I'm just kidding. But I care.
No, and I am not saying.
I'm just kidding
about him. I'm just saying like. He's
look at us backtrack.
He's an example of someone who might.
You're backtracking.
No. I'm just saying. I think that is possibly an example of someone who cares too much. However, what an amazing story, and like what devotion,
and what a beautiful soul.
To care that much.
I really do care that people like him populate the world. I think you need actually over carers to make up for all the assholes who don't give a shit about anything. There's a lot of people. Everybody cares about something, so we can state that in this podcast, right? Everybody cares about something, whether it's the guy who's killed 14 people but still loves his sister, you know what I mean, or his mom.
God bless that guy.
God bless. He still loves his mom, so he's got that one motivation. Yeah. Or, right, that person who's pissed away their life but still loves crack. You know what I mean? Like he cares about his crack. He cares about something, I think the only time somebody gets to the point of like not caring at all is when they care so little about everything, they're done. That's when you know life is over, is when you care about nothing. The only thing you care about is making life stop. And that's a really dark place. You have to care about something. So I think it's important that as you age and as the lessons of life tell you not to care as much, right? That you learn how to put limiters on it, but you never lose the ability to give a shit. Because once you really do, you're just contributing such an apathy to the world. You're almost dulling down the knife of life. Now, with that said, there are some things that I can be extremely apathetic about, but I'm honest about it. Like a lot of people aren't. Like they're disingenuous. We're gonna get to the disingenuous people in a second, but like I'm honest. Like the last 2 elections ago, or when Obama was going against one of those guys, and I did a video and I was just like, they were in the debate and I didn't care. That is just being real about it. I don't care. It's not that I don't care about the result, because I do, and I care about my country and I care about what happens and all that stuff. It's that how they were arguing was all they was doing was just making fun of each other without actually bringing up any actual points of what they were gonna do. Right. It was just a diss fest. It was like a fucking rap battle, and I'm like, I don't care. And people are like, how can you not care? How do you not care? You know why? Because there's no substance there for me to care about.
Right.
You know, and show me that, and I'll care. Give me somebody who's not makes me feel like they're lying to me, and I'll care. Or give me somebody who's an affront to me, like our current president, and I'll care. See, some things I care about things in a negative sense. So let's get to disingenuous people. How do you feel about people who pretend to care, Guy? And I'm sure we all do it. I've done it, and you do it. We both do it. Everybody here in the chat room does it. Everybody listening to the podcast pretends to care. But like
everyone,
like when a kid, you care about children, you're like, oh, that's great. You don't care. You don't care. That's amazing. Or tell somebody you're dating, you're like, you look so pretty. You're like,
I don't care.
I don't care.
Actually,
like you do care. I care. Okay, let's
go
on for that.
Dog.
Yeah, right. I don't care enough to tell the truth that you are pretty. I'm just gonna stay with that forever and ever. Okay, so what do you care, Guy? What do you think about those who pretend to care? And soapbox. This is the worst thing I think of all, because really what they're doing is, I'm just gonna jump in on this because I have a lot to say. Forgive me. What they're doing is really.
Jesse, you never have enough to say.
Shut up. Right? You don't care about me. Right now, I can tell. I didn't like that tone of your voice. But the people who are soapboxing and saying, oh, you did this wrong, or oh, this is, like the cause people, that if everybody's not in their cause, they're the enemy. Right? And it turns out a lot of them, they don't really care either. They just do it for the attention of caring. What do you think of that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a well-known phenomenon in this day and age. Oh, it always has been. The whatever kind of snake oil salesman you've got going on, whatever the cause du jour is, or think about like the anti-vax movement is something that comes to mind. It's like these people who pretend to care about the health of their children and they're just looking out for my child and such.
Oh God.
And completely ignoring the wider effects of their actions and the propaganda that they spread, right? Just like, or anything that you're assigning like a value or a notion of caring to some sort of notion of your life, and anyone who doesn't follow along or like acknowledge that is like a heretic or is uncaring and apathetic.
Don't you think it's dangerous too when we take the care meter or whatever, and we start putting the needs or cares, things we care about, in our own pecking order before the good of the many? That's a very in terms of like vaccines and stuff like that, very dangerous. Because somehow your needs or your love, right, is actually harmful. So the other thing is, like, when you talk about caring, I had written something down, like, what do you do when you're asked to care about two opposing things? And that's constant in our culture, right? I think that creates a lot of the I don't care. Wouldn't you say? Like, because it creates apathy, because they're like, forgetting the extremism that's going on here in America and the rest of the world right now, but in a normal sort of like cycle of political elections, or when two people break up and it's like, who do you, and they're asking you to choose sides, they're asking you, who do you care about more?
Who do you care about more? Yeah.
And what's the answer for you, Guy?
Yeah, dude, the care pendulum. That is
the care pendulum. That's a good one. Yeah. It's
very
fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Especially in the context that you just brought up in terms of like, like someone breaks up, or there's some sort of situation that splits two people, and you were friends or acquaintances with both of them. I have, we've all experienced this thing in our lifetime. And if you haven't, well, just you look forward to it.
Oh, it's going to happen.
It will happen to you. It's a very tricky line, and you don't want to, especially when you value two people and they're entwined and then they get disentwined. You don't actually stop caring less about one or the other, but you have to assign preference.
You have to. Your care meter has to be higher for one than the other.
Yeah.
I care more about you than I care about you.
Yeah.
How about parents who have two or three children? Do they have a care meter, right? They don't admit it. They care more about one of the kids than the other, right? I love all my kids equally.
I think that has to be absolutely true. I think anyone who says that preference amongst
Guy, you don't have kids, right? I know you don't, but I'm just
no.
Okay,
none.
So if you had
none
kids,
that have escaped yet.
Fair enough, right? Or none that you know of. Let's just say that. So if you had kids, would you care about? And yet, say 3. Would you care about the kid that you had the most the best time with? The one that was the smartest,
did the most chores,
or did the most work, or wait for it, or looked the most like you?
Ooh.
Which one of the 4 would you care about the most?
I don't know. Maybe overstepping the bounds of this topic, but it is of my opinion that many people have children in order to create a replica of themselves.
I agree with this.
So I think that knowingly or unknowingly, a child that looked more like you might be more inclined to support and care about that child.
Wow.
Rather than the one that
just purely narcissistic reasons.
Yeah, the one that came out with like zebras, and you're like, that's clearly.
And then, do you care less about the child that doesn't fulfill the expectations of them? Sort of. This is where the cynicism in this podcast comes out. Doesn't fulfill the expectations of correcting the mistakes that you made as a child.
Right. Yeah. Putting your faith and trust in the fact that this offspring will correct all the wrongs that you never had. Like, when it comes to parenting, and again, I don't have children. I don't know how this works exactly, but I do wonder a lot about how much like projection there is, and like being like, oh, this kid is going to be, the quarterback on the football team, or
the pussy grabber in chief.
Yeah, this kid won't pick his nose and eat it like I do. Like, like
good?
Whatever level of achievement you assign to that child. See if
and the great disappointment you feel after. So, do you find that when expectations are dashed for you, Guy, that you care a lot less once they're dashed enough times? I'm experiencing this right now.
Sorry, repeat that?
Do you find that as expectations for something in your life or this and that get dashed and sort of dwindled a little bit, that your caring for them starts to go down for the goal or the thing itself?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. As like retreats or becomes inaccessible, then yeah, you stop caring as much.
Do you feel that that's a natural human reaction? To sort of like as a self-defense thing, it's like I've invested all this time into this thing, or this energy, or this love.
You always want to remove yourself from potentially a situation by mitigating, your own involvement and your ability to. And this happens in relationships all the time. This happens in workplaces all the time, right? You didn't get that promotion that you wanted. They hired someone else, and all of a sudden they're not anymore, or whatever. And then you're like, well, I used to care about this.
Yeah, that's a big phrase.
It's gone downhill.
Yeah, use that phrase. That's 100% accurate. Oh, I used to care about that. I used to like the sports team. I used to care. It's like a self-defense thing, right? It's like I now remove my emotional attachment to that thing I gave a shit about before. It's fucking fascinating. It's like, I don't care about it anymore. And it's like such a write-off of it. In your brain, you're writing it off to yourself. Then some people are deluding themselves. Oh, I don't really care about him. Yes, you do.
Right.
You do. His name's.
You know what? It's funny. You just brought up sports, and that's actually a good topic of discussion. Like, how much do you like? I'm a Browns fan.
Mm-hmm. Oh God.
How much do I actually care about the Browns? And honestly, I don't. Like the stadium could get nuked, and like, yeah, I'd feel bad, but it wouldn't really affect me on a day-to-day level. I only care about the Browns because I'm projecting on them. I'm just like, oh,
do you
I
pick
hope
the
my
Browns?
team wins
But do you pick
today.
the Browns because they're like the ultimate like shitty team that never goes anywhere, and if somehow one day they can go somewhere, you're gonna be the guy that finally went somewhere? I did that with AMD as a stock. I put all this fucking money in this company.
I remember you were like an AMD evangelist. You're like, dude,
AMD. I was like all about AMD. You know why I
what are you doing with that NVIDIA garbage?
It's garbage. You know why I love AMD? You know why I care about AMD?
What is that?
Because AMD was the underdog to Intel that swindled them. And their chips were actually faster. So I chose this stock because I said, I'm going to invest in this company that's nearly bankrupt. And every 2 months, they'd be like, it's going bankrupt. And I go, oh, fuck, I'm doomed. I'm doomed because I put my money in AMD. I'm so stupid. Right? Because I was being self-destructive with my money. because I needed a way out. So I started to project my care about this company as the underdog, as the little engine that could, as a way to sort of like maybe narcissistically, I don't know, like a child, like we talked about this before, like to see if my child could overcome adversity that I never could. Right. Now, thankfully, AMD was at $3.
I was going to say, have you held on?
I have a few shares, yes. It was at $3.
You're probably doing okay, right?
And now today it hit 35. So AMD came through. Jeskidding still here in his fucking apartment.
That's when the cash started rolling.
Making it rain, bits or subscriptions or Patreon. We have a Patreon account, by the way, please, ladies and gentlemen. That there's not much AMD stock. But my point is that so we choose these things to externally care about, right? As almost like mirrors, reflections, hopes for our own sort of lives, right? And maybe you can even say the same thing about, well, actually, I don't know about this, for loved ones. So for loved ones, it's like, it's a different kind of care. It's like,
so you're talking about like,
significant other.
You have a sibling or whatever. You're like, oh,
that's forced care. That's
Johnny
forced
was doing all right, but now I don't know if he's on the right path, so I don't.
Let me tell you, those bloodlines, they get fucking tested in the lifetime. It's like, oh my God. It's like, oh, but your blood. Like, and then you're like, yeah, but I don't really like them. So should I care? Yeah, but your blood. And then you start to realize that you're not so dissimilar, and that's when the caring happens, right? But all those years before that, you're like, I don't fucking care. I don't even like you. Why should I care? That's another one, right? So when people,
I've been slowly coming to terms with the fact that I have a pretty small family, but I have like a couple cousins who I keep in touch with, and like half of them are kind of atrocious assholes. None of them are listening to this right now.
No. But hashtag Guy Rader's family.
Guy Rader's family, half are atrocious assholes.
Half atrociousasshole.com. It's a long. I've just registered it.
And I to the point where this is so fucking petty, but I'm like, I want to unfriend them on social media because the shit they post is so like.
But you care enough to want them to be out of your life. Like you care the opposite side. The opposite side. Like he's like, I care enough to get rid of you. That's another version of caring.
Well, yeah. But isn't that a form of self-care?
Yeah, it's true. It's self-protective care. I agree with that. So what about the term? Let's talk about the term when people say, well, why should I care? It's very interesting. Why should I care? And a lot of people approach everything with this. This is like a cynical way to look at the world. When you walk into like this room, so somebody's new to watching my podcast or listening to us, they walk in and there's immediately like, okay, why should I care? Prove it to me why I should care about you. And you have to put on a fucking song and dance, be your most charming self, say the right words so that maybe they'll care enough to grace you with a follow or a like or a subscription to help you keep your thing going. And it's like kind of like the caring is also on a professional basis, right? So why should I care? Happens when you send somebody a fucking email and they're like, oh, what is this? Why should I care? And usually the reason why they need to care is when you can do something for them and have sort of vested interest. It's a very twisted world. And like, yeah, everything, I think everything at this moment is a fucking elevator pitch. At least in what I do. It's like everything's like, well, why should I care?
Oh, absolutely.
Why are you wasting my time?
And there's such a preponderance of content out there now, right? Like it's so easy to say like, yeah, that's okay, but why should I care about it? Or
Yeah.
why should I be interested?
Yeah. You now wasted 5 minutes of my life. I didn't care. I don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, like I have like a 2.5, 3 hour commute every day, and so I listen to a shit ton of podcasts and such, and sometimes I I try it out or whatever. I'm like, oh, I should listen, and I'm like, it's okay, but I don't care. Like,
I don't care.
Meanwhile, how much care and attention did these people put in? Like,
it's fucking murder
best effort or whatever. And I just like, no, not gonna subscribe.
It's such a but that's our arrogant way to see the world, right? And it's sort of like we all we're just fucking. This is cynical, forgive me, but we're like organisms roaming around in a fucking piece of rock that a billion or a couple billion years from now will just be gone. You know what I'm saying? It'll be fucking gone. And everything where it's like, I left my stamp and this is fucking history and I'm making history. You know what I mean? And I'm a legacy. And even the Mozarts and the Beethovens, in all likelihood, right, will be the fucking dust that appears maybe in somebody else's fucking soup on planet, I don't care, or whatever the fucking thing is called. So... But we walk around with like the self-importance because we have what we have, right? And what we have is the ability to walk into chat rooms or social circumstances or other people's lives or streams and say, tell me why I should care. And that's our power. We have the ability to exert that power, or walk by a store and be like, you want to have some fucking Shake Shack and an ice cream thing, right? Are you interested in that? Nah, I don't care. No, it's not for me. I don't care. I care about fucking being a vegan. So we get to like put these personal identifiers on like what we care about in life, and that empowers us to get through this thing with some sense of control. Right? It's very interesting. It's like our own personal stamp. But that's really cynical. Wow, I hit you with a dose cynical. Some people have come in the chat room. Hello. They're saying hello. Usually I don't say hello because it's all podcast audio later, but I'm helloing you. Hello. I cared enough to hello you. You've been cared for. I care about you. Okay, guy, we're going to do a lightning round. And those in the chat room, I want you to please answer. So you're going to write it out, and I'm going to fucking tell your shit on the stream. And this has been a very nonsensical stream, but I don't care. Because I felt like doing something that was fucking all over the place. Because that's my personality. Right, guy?
It is.
Thank you for co-signing that. I was a little worried that you would.
Not that I care.
I knew you don't care, you fucking dick. Okay, so, all right, politics. Should I care?
Yes, absolutely. You should care.
Why? Quickly.
You should care because your engagement, your vote actually matters. You can see it day by day, minute by minute in our 24-hour news stream that the things that politicians and people in government and civic institutions do affects your life directly. And to think that that not caring is an option is a very nihilistic.
Okay, Yukio and TSL so far have said nope and no. They don't even care enough to give full sentences. Right?
No. Of course, your vote doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean you shouldn't exercise.
It's okay.
Or at the very least, sorry. I'm very passionate.
Guy really cares about this. We've hit a very caring moment for him. This is good. We're bringing it out of him.
Yes.
Dan Vincent just subscribed for 5 months to my channel. I care about that because I'm self-centered and I need to pay my bills. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so politics. Guy says you care. I care. But I'm also a little jaded by it because it's hard to really understand what is being put in front of you. So it's hard for me to discern what is actually real to care about. That's kind of my problem with it, right? All right, so we're here doing a podcast really quickly for those that are new. It's called Do We Really Care? Really, do we? We're talking about what that means, and we're going to a quick list. So if you care or don't care about these things, you're going to answer now. Okay, so we said politics. Relationships, guys. Do you care or don't care about relationships?
Oh, absolutely do care. It's pretty much the only thing that's brought meaning to my life consistently throughout, both the ups and downs. So yeah, you should absolutely care about relationships because that means that someone's probably caring about you and you should care back.
I agree with this completely. Caring for another person or a group of people is the most important thing you can do in your life. By putting caring into the world, it will come back at you. Even when it doesn't, you can you can just say, I don't care about you, and just go find another people that you do care about and care about you back. Okay, that's the answer to that one. Let's go to the next thing. What movies are coming out? Do you care what movies are coming out?
Oh, I actually don't. I have absolutely no interest.
You don't care? Guy does not care.
I will get excited if it happens to be dangled in front of me like a piece of bait to a fish.
Fair enough. So if it's like, hey, look at this fucking shiny thing, you're like, oh, I may. So would you say that we care less and less with time? Like, what the time span that we care is less than it used to be. Like the attention span to care is much less. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I hope the fundamentals stay the same, but right. In terms of social and political and transactional shit, yeah, it diminishes. We have such a quick and temporary news cycle, and a very fast transactional social order with each other. That I think the lifespan, the half-life, is much less than it used to be.
That was a fucking really long way to say. Yeah, it's really short. Holy shit!
Eat my asshole.
I care about your asshole. Okay, so thank you. How much money you have? Do you care?
Unfortunately, yes, I care much more than I ever.
Why do you care so much? Nothing wrong with it. Just why do you care?
Because money doesn't buy happiness, but
money doesn't buy happiness, but what?
You can rent it.
You can rent happiness with money. You really can't, but I don't disagree.
It does. The advantage of money is it buys you care.
It buys you what?
It buys you. Buys you absence of worry.
Fair enough.
In a lot of
circumstances. So you care about not worrying. That's I totally understand that, and I agree with you completely. So let's go to chat room for a second. Somebody said they care for tacos. Thank you for that. Somebody said they don't care about movies. I care about movies, but I don't care as much as I used to. I used to care like extremely, but over the years, I've just watched them dwindle. So disappointment has made me care less. And once you've seen enough movies, it's like you really got. Art to me is something that's ever changing, and if it's the same shit over and over and over and over in a different package, I care less. You have to actually challenge me for me to care.
So you're looking forward to the next superhero movie?
No, I enjoy those, but I don't run out. I'm not like, oh my god, I gotta see fucking Thor's hammer 75.
Right.
I care about the experience I have with other people while going to the movies. I care about movies that I've already heard were good because I don't want to waste my time because my time is precious. I care about my time. Okay, moving on. Do you care about what you've done with your life?
Oh, yeah. I care, but I want to forget about it because it just makes me sad. That's 100% truth.
I love it. It's amazing.
Oh, fuck. Why did I do that? Why didn't I do this consistently?
There's like a
and I'm going to die penniless and alone.
You will die penniless, but you won't be alone.
Oh, I feel so much better.
The bill collector will be there to.
You won't be alone because the bill collectors are being kicking your fucking carcass.
There'll be some fucking priest, that you've never met giving you last rites that you don't believe in. So don't worry, you won't be alone. You're gonna be fine. I didn't care enough to make you feel better at that moment. Unfortunately, I cared more about the comedy of the podcast than I did about you at that moment. There was a priority list to that.
And I care about that.
Thank you for that. So let's move on. Do you care about your Facebook friends?
No. Well, yes.
I'm your Facebook friend,
Look,
bro.
Yeah, I know. I care only that it's the easiest way to find out what people are up to, and I actually do care about that. Like, I actually, if I had the option, I would rather talk to them or email them individually. But as an aggregate, yeah, I do care about my Facebook friends.
But you don't care enough to email or really reach out to people. You actually prefer the aggregate.
Well, yeah, just because that's the norm.
Because you're a guy that you're a little bit of a solo guy.
What do you think about someone who does the minimum?
What? Does the bare minimum? Yes, I heard you. You were breaking up a little bit. What do you think about something at the bare minimum? I appreciate that person. Why do you do the bare minimum? Because life is overwhelming, and sometimes you just want to fucking just stay in your cave and do the things that you like.
I care about the fact that I might be breaking up because I just fucking put in a wired Ethernet connection again.
Oh,
I thought it would solve that.
Nope. You care about your technology. I know that about you.
Oh yeah, I do.
I also care about my technology. Fair enough.
You do.
Okay, moving on. Do you care when somebody has an ill family member? They're not your family member. You've never met that family member. Do you care?
Only slightly more than I care about like a sick celebrity or a dead celebrity. Wow. If I don't know them, and I only care in as much as that if people around me.
Okay, that's fine. I
but
care.
Yeah, like yeah.
Like, do you find?
I don't care. Your great grandfather died, and you've met him. You met him once, and
I don't care.
Whatever. I don't care.
You're like, I don't care, unless it's like a really close. Bad. If it's a really close friend of mine, and they've like shared a lot about that other person, then I care because I know how affected they are by it. You know what I mean? Right. When they really they have to describe to me about the person though. If somebody's like, like they're online, I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm really not, and I know I don't want it to bite me in the ass, whatever. But when I go through Facebook, and I'm of the age where people's parents are passing, right? Mm-hmm. And it happens a lot.
Oh, they're dropping like flies at our age.
It's crazy, right? So you're just going through, and you're like, it's like 7 a fucking day sometimes. And then I'm like, I care because I don't want the person to feel bad, but I don't know what to say. No one does.
Right.
I get it. So I'm like, oh, what do I say? I'm like, well, I rest in peace or so sorry or, you know? And then sometimes, every once in a while, I'm going to be honest right here today, guy. I don't really care about that particular person enough to say the words.
You know, you just comment YOLO.
YOLO? Oh my God, YOLO! And they had their YOLO. You only live once. That's
exactly.
It. Exactly.
Done.
Sorry, you know.
Proof positive.
Done. YOLO. Or somebody. Andy said, or laugh out loud. Lots of love. That's amazing. That's amazing right there. I might use that when if Guy ever kicks it. If Guy kicks it, I'm gonna put on his page LOL.
LOL.
Parentheses. Lots of love. Yeah. That's amazing, Andy. That's comedy gold right there in the chat room. That's amazing. Fox says, I really care about my computer if I don't have one, or I go even more crazier than I am already. So you've kind of established this thing, Fox, which is we care about the things that we need most.
Yeah.
Right? We care about, if it's a loved one, right? Okay, so we get emotional support. So those that really need or love emotional support, not loners, and they find human connection to be the number one thing, then they care the most. Those that need the tools to get that emotional support, like your computer, that's what they care about. Those that are hungry all the time only care about food. Those that are addicted to crack only care about crack. I don't know where I'm going with this. I hope that's not how that family member died, by the way. They were cracked out while trying to fix their computer. And I'm like, well...
Like, no, you gotta leave it unplugged for 7 seconds. I don't have enough.
Oh, you broke up on the end of that joke. That's terrible. We lost that. But I don't care. I don't think it was going to be that funny. I don't care.
Not enough throughput.
No, not enough at all. So, okay, let's go on to the list. I may have to get off you in a second. Do you care who the most popular person is right now or at any time?
Not at all. I've never cared about celebrity or what's the hot now.
I don't really give a shit either. I don't care. I mean, the only reason I care is because it's a conduit to me being able to do what I do. And I hate the fact that I'm forced to care in a professional sense. Fucking hate it. I loathe it, actually. And I loathe the fact that when you're more popular, the having to like listen. So this is where I don't care at an extreme level. It's the opposite. I don't care. It's I fucking hate it. Is that they have to continuously talk about every fucking tiny bit of success that they have. Everything. Like, oh my God, I'm at this fucking award and I'm at that award and I'm here and I'm there and I'm holding that trophy. And I get it. I know why they do it. I don't fault them for having to do it. But nothing makes me care less about your achievements than having to hear every fucking single one. And I'm not saying I won't do it because it's part of being successful is just promoting success. But I don't really care. Like, I don't want to bother people. And that's kind of my problem because I don't care enough about chasing fame as I should. I don't care enough about pandering as I should. But it is what it is. I'm not saying I'll never do it. By the way, if I get famous, I may be a fucking total whore. So don't come back. I'm going to send the podcast. Because you know what I'll say? I don't care. I'm rich. No, I won't do that at all. It sounded funny in my brain. I need to imagine it for a second. Okay. Movement. Manufactured success. Somebody said. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Hold on. Okay, so where do we go back? Do you care a lot about people who did awful things to you in the past?
No. I try not to pay that much mind. No, I don't care.
Good. I care too much about that in like I use it as fuel to make myself feel bad.
Sure.
Like, I'll find that thing that somebody said to me 25 years ago, or that one bad moment, because I'm already kind of feeling bad about myself. And it's like a way to self-mutilate. It's like I'm cutting myself fucking mentally by bringing up that memory that has no power. It does. I really do not care about it until I'm like, hey, let me fucking open up the fucking Lord of the Rings book and get to page 276 where that thing happens that always makes me angry. But I don't ever think about it or care about it till that moment, until I open up that page. So I care about things like that way too much. It's bad. It's a bad habit that I have. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, so in the chat room, really quickly, anybody want to join the Discord? We have a few minutes. And tell me the thing that you care about the most. Thing you care about the most. And the Discord is open. Guy, do you have anything that you care about? What's the thing you care about the most, Guy? You said friends and family.
I'm going to take this opportunity to say Jeffrey Epstein did not commit suicide.
Wow. And why? And you care about this because you feel like there's politics at play.
What? Because we all love conspiracy theories. I'm not a huge conspiracy theory person myself. The thing about Jeffrey Epstein is that it's not a conspiracy theory. It is so evident and out there, and it has been ignored. And
okay,
it's a true display of how big power and wealth and interest can. I hope I don't derail this entire thing.
No.
I kind of meant it as a joke, but I do care about it because it is again so obvious and so out in the open, and nothing has been done or said about it.
Well, it's like, it speaks actually to what we're talking about completely, because for that to happen, right, somebody had to care enough about their reputation and their standing, right, to do something about it. I don't know who that was, but if you're saying somebody powerful, could have been a lot of people, because he was going to get a lot of people. Then there had to be somebody inside the justice system that cared more about whatever financial or
protecting reputation
or positional promotion that they would get out of looking the other way, and they had to care about that more than justice. You know what I mean? So there had to be a pecking order for them, or they had to care more about their own safety.
And the thing
more about justice.
And the thing that's even more disgusting about it's not about just base level justice. I mean, you're talking about one of the things that is universally despised among culture and pedophilia, right?
Right. That's why that guy got murdered, but nobody cares. Seriously, like, that's why nobody's really pursuing it, because it's one of those moments like, well, he's a fucking pedophile. I don't care if he got murdered.
Yeah,
you should care
so much.
You should care.
But anyway,
because
that's the subject for another podcast.
No, you should care. But it ties into exactly, like, should we care? Yeah, we kind of should, because even though this guy's a filthy piece of shit, if you were imprisoned with information upon people that are powerful, right? Wouldn't you? But that's what we lack, dude. We lack sometimes that caring, that empathy for situations like this, because we can't see how it might affect us in the future. And it's so important in caring about things, you have to really be able to understand why other people care about things. And I think there's an empathy there that a lot of us lack, because caring in general, even though it's a great word, it's a very selfish word. And we talked about that before, right? It's a narcissism of choice of what you do or you don't have an emotional caring for. I don't know the other word for it. So when you don't allow yourself to see what other people care about, like, I think that when you're in a relationship, I'm going to give you a relationship advice to anybody who's out there. If you listen to any relationship advice from me, you're going to break up. So I'm so sorry. But maybe this one will be the one bit that doesn't do that. So the best thing you can do for somebody gave me this advice when I was much younger, and I remembered it for many years, about being a good friend. She said, being a good friend to somebody means caring about things that you may not necessarily like, but you're being supportive of them in caring about those things. And it's a great lesson, and I've carried it forward, like, to people that I've dated, to people that are friends, to people that I've met online, is that if somebody shows something, I show a real interest in it because they're interested in it. I care about it, like, via them, because I want to see them happy. So really what that's emoting is, like, I do care. I care about their happiness. And that thing is bringing them happiness, so I care about that thing. because it's getting me what I want, which is the emotional reaction of seeing somebody that I care about happy. So I think that there's a really valuable way to be empathetically caring. Even though we talked about before, not caring as much about a friend of a friend passing away, but via proxy, we definitely care about what happened as it relates to somebody that we have an emotional direct connection to. Does that make sense? I don't know. That was a really long thing. You probably like, guys, like, I don't care. I don't care what you're talking about right now. Is this over yet?
I don't even know who you are.
Okay, so now we have the chat rooms talking about perverts and Jeffrey Epstein, and this is a totally different topic. Guy has derailed me to a topic that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to bring that. I wanted to say like in my. Hey, my name's Guy Rader, and Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I had to use my God voice on you. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Guy Rader says Jeffrey Epstein does not kill himself. Got it. Okay, so I think I'm going to end this on a happy note, and
yes,
I'm going to say goodnight to everybody here. But before I say goodnight, I want to say I care about expressing myself innately. I care about sharing what I do and who I am with all of you on a very personal level. I care that Guy Rader is making a lot of noise while I'm trying to give my big speech.
Sorry, I didn't mute quick enough.
I care, but because I care about the overall experience that we generate here, whether it's for big or small. I care about contributing to the stream of life in a positive way. That's my mission. Everybody has their own mission of something they care about, and my mission is to care about seeing other people be happy, see other people be more enlightened. Not because I can enlighten them, but maybe something that I do can trigger something that they can enlighten in themselves. So I think that my mission in life is fueled completely by caring. And the anytime I feel any sort of real apathy towards anything, I almost have an anger in myself. It's a very visceral response to the fact that I have to shut off this thing that's so deeply flowing through me. Yeah, I mean, the only way I can end this is caring is good. Caring is good. I don't know if anybody cared about that speech, but I care.
No, I second that, man. I second that.
You're very good. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to have a big heart in this world.
Yeah.
It just is. It's hard to care a lot. Some people, like they've said in some movies, like some people they care too much. And I think it's a great thing, especially when those passions are put into positive things that aren't harmful to other people. I think it's a beautiful thing. And the fact that the world drowns out our caring of things, it's very disheartening. And the fact that the world has drowned out my caring of things in some ways is truly disturbing to me. And the fact that I've had to put limits on some of that is very sad for me. But all I can do is fight through that and then find the very specific things that I can put my heart into and just do that as passionately and as caring as I can.